What's up, Boulder, Colorado?
That's good. That's good. That's good. That's a good. Now that's a good one.
Today, we've got several great news stories for you, so let's make like Enron and get shredding. Our main story today is about some recent major job openings that Coach Prime is being linked to. Now, those who may have missed it, the SEC currently has two major openings at Texas A&M and Mississippi State. We're also going to talk about Jason Whitlock and a couple other stories. So grab you a Wendy's Frosty like my kids like. Sit back and get ready because this is the prime time for college football. Our first story that we're going to talk about today is the smoke about Coach Prime and these SEC job openings. Now, for those who may have missed it, Texas A&M recently fired their head coach, Jimbo Fisher, and then a Stephen A. Smith tweet called for Texas A&M to hire Deion Sanders as their next head coach. Now, Smith believes that Coach Prime's charisma and recruiting ability may make him a great fit for Texas A&M. He also went on to mention that Deion Sanders has been successful at Colorado and has very deep ties to the state of Texas. So, Boulder, it's about to get a little bit uncomfortable here. I've always been really honest with you guys. I think that Coach Prime is going to be highly sought after. People are looking at these ratings and know that Coach Prime would break all records in the SEC. But I also believe that he has unfinished business in Boulder. And I think he has a little bit of a bad taste in his mouth after the way that this season has gone. I also think that he wants to prove that he can be great here. But I am going to warn you, Boulder. It takes money to compete with the big boys. And if there was any way that I could possibly see him leaving, it would be because of what Colorado's and the fans' commitment to NIL was. So I've said this before. There's a lot of people with a lot of money that watch this channel. I know it. I see the YouTube analytics. There are millionaires that watch this, several. There are a few of you who are in the billions that may tune in from time to time. You guys need to reach out to Colorado's NIL and make sure that Coach Prime has the resources he needs to compete. And if you do that, I don't think we have anything to worry about. And I do believe he has unfinished business here. Coach Prime is a builder. He is someone who likes to complete things. He is someone who likes to finish things, not someone who likes to do one job, 1 year at a job, and then bolt. That's not who he is. But he needs the resources to be able to compete at the highest level. And if the NIL in Boulder does not match up with what it is all across the country, then it doesn't matter. They will not be able to compete. And Coach Prime will know that. He's no dummy. He knows what this game is. There's also a second job opening in the SEC, and that's Mississippi State. Now, this is also a state that Coach Prime has a lot of connections to from his past job. Now, this one I think might be a little bit more interesting, but I'm not as worried about Mississippi State. I don't know if their resources quite match up with what A&M has. So, let me hear what you guys think. What do you guys think about all of the smoke that comes up anytime there's a new job opening with Coach Prime? Let me know down in the comments. Now, it's not all got to be negative. Having a coach that is highly, highly sought after is worrisome in some regards, but it also should be a sense of pride. It also should be a sense of these places know what Coach Prime can do, and they know how good he's going to be, and I'm glad he's our guy. I don't think Coach Prime's going anywhere, but it doesn't always have to be negative. It's kind of a good thing to have a coach that's wanted. Nobody was asking for the guy that was here last, and that's no shade at him. That's no offense, but that's the fact of the matter. Next, we're going to talk about a recent post that Jason Whitlock made on Twitter. Now, you guys have known me for a while. I rarely give negative people any of our energy. But I scrolled by this and I was like, you know what? I got something that I need to say about it. Whitlock posted, "Black people are so ruled by racial idolatry and celebrity worship that we will reject any uncomfortable truth revealed about Deion Sanders." Now, as a white guy, you guys can look at me and see, I cannot speak for black people on this. And I'm not going to say anything negative about Mr. Whitlock. What I can say, though, is that as far as Coach Prime goes, I don't worship him. I don't know about you guys, but Coach Prime is a human, just like all of us. He makes mistakes, just like all of us do. But he owns his mistakes, and he apologizes, and he is confident in himself and his abilities, which is what a lot of us struggle with. He also speaks the truth far more than most people, and he also motivates people, and he cares about people. And what he's not doing is sitting around and building a career criticizing people and being negative. And what he's not doing is telling you to worship him. Because all that I ever hear him do is to tell people to worship Jesus and God all the time. So again, I'm a white guy. I get it. I can't speak for everyone on this. But I don't worship Deion Sanders. I don't worship Coach Prime. I've got a channel that's dedicated to covering him, to reporting news about him, to giving my opinion about him, but I don't worship him. I think he's a great role model. I would love for my kids to one day be able to play for him if he's still coaching, but I don't worship him. And Coach Prime doesn't want your worship. He tells you all the time, worship Jesus. Now, you may not believe that way religiously. That's fine. But he doesn't want your worship. And so this is another place where Whitlock is completely off base. And he is completely off and missing the mark here. And it is frustrating to continue to see him use Coach Prime's name to bring up negativity and dog him and lie. This is a lie, a bold-faced lie. Coach Prime doesn't want your worship. Coach Prime doesn't need you to bow down and kiss the ground that he walks on. He continuously tells you who you should be worshiping. Next, we're going to talk about, that's got my blood boiling a little bit. Next up, we're going to talk about Shedeur Sanders winning an epic award. Now, Shedeur Sanders has been named the recipient of the 2023 Buffalo Heart Award for his toughness, grit, and dedication to the Colorado Buffaloes football program. Now, we all know this, but Shedeur has battled injuries throughout this season, but has still managed to break records and lead this team. He has over 3,000 passing yards for this season, and he has been an inspiration for football players everywhere, showing that they can be successful at any level. Remember, he came from the FCS level and now is dominating the FBS level. Massive shout out to Shedeur. Love everything that kid stands for, his work, his determination, and I'm hoping we get to see him for one more year in Boulder, like Coach Prime has alluded to. Finally, we're going to talk about another job that Coach Prime's name is being floated with. CBS analyst Pete Prisco believes that Deion Sanders should be a target as the new head coach for the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders just fired Josh McDaniels after one season, and Antonio Pierce will take over as interim head coach. Now, Prisco believes that the Prime effect would be a monumental force in the NFL. Now, Buffs fans, we've covered this probably 2 or 3 times already this year, but maybe you're new to the channel, and so we'll say it one more time. Coach Prime has no interest in coaching in the NFL. He said it from his own mouth, and that is not my opinion. That is his take. He wants to mentor and train up young men to be role models, to be future coaches, to go to the NFL. And he believes that he can offer more value to these young men. And he said it time and time and time again. So it doesn't matter who's saying it. It doesn't matter who's reporting that it would be great. That is not reality. And if you want to know why it's not reality, listen to the words that come out of Coach Prime's mouth. Guys like to use Coach Prime for clickbaity, negative things. They like to use him on their hot boards of coaching searches when he said repeatedly that he doesn't want this or he doesn't want that. They like to stir it up and say he's going to the SEC. But just listen to what Coach Prime says. Just listen to the words that come out of his own mouth. Now, what happens in 5 years? What happens in 10 years? I don't know. Things change. People change. Opinions change. Goals change. But to think that Coach Prime might be in Vegas or College Station or Starkville or anywhere else next year is completely against everything that he stands for and has said. Listen, I got my blood boiling a little bit on this video. Hopefully you guys are still with me. But it's because I do care about the way that people represent Coach Prime and the way that they represent what has happened. We didn't even get into it today, but you remember all those smart folks that had a lot to say about Coach Prime moving Coach Shermer to play calling? Where were those people when Colorado just went and scored 31 against Arizona? Where were those folks? Sometimes Coach Prime knows what he's doing. Most of the time, I'd venture to say Coach Prime knows what he's doing. And I think he does in this situation too. Listen, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I always appreciate your support. We're just a couple of days away from game day. Friday night game again. We're going to enjoy this week. We're going to enjoy these last 2 games. I've enjoyed this season with you. Make sure that you're locked in with the channel and subscribed. We will talk to you soon. Thank you as always for watching the Prime Time for college football.